Right, I'm Hazem Falou. I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon, and I would like to talk to you about a device developed that offers a platform to monitor, a different approach to monitor cardiac disease in the patients who undergo surgery. And I founded the company 10 years ago with the aim that I would solve problems that my patients and my colleagues face every day. The currently solutions are either incredibly lacking or do not exist at all. And we're nothing bigger of a problem than looking after a patient after heart surgery, the heart is failing, called low cardiac output. And to monitor that, we currently use a device called the Swan-Ganz catheter. Any volunteers? Don't worry, I'm prepared. Brought my heart with me here. Right, so this is the Swan-Ganz catheter, just a bit of visuals. And that basically goes into the neck, courtesy of Edwards, into the neck, past two chambers, the right atrium, tricuspid valve, with a bit of a push and a big leap of faith. It'll turn around and it'll get past the pulmonary valve into this pulmonary artery inside the vessel. Well, that's a great device if you don't have access to the heart. The only problem is all my patients, the heart is in my hand and the pulmonary artery is right there. So my device is a little probe I put at the end of the operation simply on the pulmonary artery to measure the flow and tell me when if the heart is failing. So it's a no-brainer, much easier way to monitor the liter per minute production of the heart, tell me about heart failure. More importantly, cardiac tamponade is a condition that gets confused within the space of heart failure or failing heart. And we consider the heart usually had a bit of a battering, doesn't work very well from the condition that we're treating. But occasionally that's not the cause. The cause is blood clots squashing the heart down and the heart doesn't function. It's difficult to detect, and I rely on my junior colleagues in the middle of the night to pick it up because it happened 12 hours after the operation. If it gets missed, the patient get a cardiac arrest and died. And the treatment, if we pick it up, is very easy. We go back to the operating room early and clear the clots out. So the Swan-Ganz doesn't help us in that, while the PerDeCT has got a balloon that measures the space around the heart and detect it early. Don't want to talk much about our second product, but it's been the real heavy lifter. It's a PhD out of King's College London, where I did, and we commercialized it, and it protects the heart during surgery. The revenue from it has been fueling a £4 million or whatever it is in dollars towards the development of this venture. I mean, it's a big problem, but if you talk about tamponade alone, it's not a rare thing. Neil Armstrong survived landing on the moon and was not fortunate enough to survive tamponade after cardiac surgery, and it's the leading cause of preventable death. And beyond death, 60% of our patients develop a life-changing complication, usually as part of the low cardiac output syndrome. The numbers are staggering in terms of intensive care use, unnecessary operation to make sure we don't miss tamponade. So to summarize, we've got lots of other cardiac output monitoring devices, but they don't work in cardiac surgery, so we still rely on this guy here. And the PerDeCT device is priced competitively, equal price point, and currently it'll offer you much easier installment. We don't use Swan-Ganz in more than 40 to 60, sometimes 80% of our patients because of the risk. It could make holes in arteries, disrupt my tricuspid valve that we just repaired. It cause clotting. We can't use it in children. We can't move the patients. PerDeCT solve all this, and it protects and it detects tamponade. It's a no-brainer. And that's why perhaps every cardiac surgery colleague of mine I see, and I see a lot, difficult to spend a day without meeting one, think they would stop using PerDeCT Swan-Ganz the moment they get their hands on the PerDeCT device, and perhaps it's go beyond because of the low risk. The story carries on from beyond the intraoperative monitoring. Currently, there's a whole move about monitoring heart failure. These are the big giant technologies, CardioMEMS, there's Endotronix, Cordella, and they rely on a right heart catheter to get to the pulmonary artery. Very ingenious, get into the vessel, and to get to the heart, if you don't have access to it, we use the space inside the vessel, which is, in my opinion, the prime real estate in the function of the vessel. And we trade sacrificing lumen to get access to the heart. But the irony of it all, 40% of Swan-Ganz catheters are used in open heart surgery, where we do have access to the heart. About 30% of CardioMEMS are used in patients who had heart surgery. So what if in every patient where we have access, we put one of those devices to monitor the patient, and suddenly we move outside the space. We have a lot more space to work with. It's much easier engineering challenge. Bigger space, more sensors. We can monitor a lot more than cardiac output or pressure, and it's easier to power and much less complication. This opens an absolute mine of a market. So Medistem is an example of one company, one product we're working with. They monitor flow of the coronary anastomosis that we do during the operation, and they're valued at $500 million. We spent already $200 million on the Swan-Ganz, and then the long-term monitoring is for every patient. Does it work is the real question. We're doing animal trials at the moment, and this is a $50 probe that we do compared to the state-of-the-art flow. This is measuring the flow second by second, millisecond by millisecond. So it's by far the most accurate way, and we're collaborating with the giant national physics lab to refine the beam for wireless, and we're adding a sensor like this, or a probe like this has got 3 or 4 sensors, measures different other things, saturation, motion, and all that. I'm honored by the support from colleagues around the world who love the idea. They're happy to help me out with clinical trials. And same in Europe, got voted the European Association Innovation Award, which is voted by thousands at that time of the annual meeting attendees. And I'm honored by a great team of engineers and great minds who's helped me on that journey, on my clinical job, and I've got ambassadors all over the place. So we are in the middle of GLP animal trials, which is funded, will get us to market. We had a pre-sub meeting with the FDA, who are happy for us to go on a 510K, so which means we are kind of ready to move on and get our first investor partner on board. So I spoke about cardioplegia. We're getting in the UK in end of this year, ready to manufacture and launch. That will generate enough income to see us through this round into market and beyond. And for the US, it's 2027. These are potential commercial partners that will have interest, expertise, and market to share with us. And we are working really hard with with Medistem, who's already in 50% of the market, and that potentially be access to ours. So we're asking £45 million to get us to market and do all the necessary thing we do. Thank you very much.